Hi, Crosswatchers for Aquarius. This is going to be a quick little video here on what's going on in the life of your Aquarius, what they want to say to you, how maybe you might be able to step up and help them for Aquarius Sun, Moon, and Rising from now into mid-May. And then mid-May I'll do another series of videos. Those of you who've had a private reading from me in the past, you know that I don't do what I call psychic spying. I'm not going to get into anybody's dirty laundry or like fly on the wall type stuff. I'm not going to access information that maybe I'm not going to have permission to otherwise, because I try to keep things high vibe, all right? I try to keep things in a high energy, and I do work with the archangels when I meditate and when I connect for readings. So I have to respect the boundaries of others. I will always ask what you need to know to protect yourself, and I will always ask what is in everyone's best and highest good for you to know. And that is the approach that I take when I do any kind of cross-watching stuff. So I want to see what's happening in Aquarius's life, what they're dealing with, what's good for you to know about Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, my darlings. So we've got 10 of Swords. Aquarius is going through the ending of something, okay? So for some of you, if this is an Aquarius whom you've broken up with or who's an ex, they may just now newly be processing the emotions or the feelings that they've had. Especially if you're seeing Aquarius as, like, you know, oh my goodness, like it's been so easy for them and they've just kind of like gone off and they're living like their best life, and like how could they not feel anything? Well, it's safe to say it's hitting them now. Or if they've been through some kind of traumatic event in their life, or they've come out of a stressful time, even though it may have been some time ago, they're just now processing the feelings. They're just now feeling it, okay? They're just now coming into releasing what needs to be released, or like realizing that they've gone through this release. Some of your Aquariuses are dealing with overcoming, numbing their emotions in some way, some self-medication. So that could be drinking, it could be drugs, it could be being a shopaholic, a workaholic, it could be video games, it could be partying, it could be sex, it could be food, it could be 1,000 trillion billion different things, right? It could be their career, right? But so they're realizing that they need to stop that. I just feel like there's this heart center activation. That's what I'm hearing. Heart center, heart chakra activation happening with Aquarius. Aquarius is not typically known as a sign to be in their feelings, right? So there's some kind of emotional awakening that your Aquarius is experiencing at this time. Two of Cups. So as they're in their feelings, they may be longing for spiritual connection. Two of Cups is like the healthy soulmate card, right? A lot of us go through the karmic soulmates on our quest for love. So we'll go through the people that break our heart. We'll go through the ones that teach us difficult lessons. And then we get to the joy level, right? We get to the completion level, the divine and feminine masculine, or you know, the true love soulmate, right? So Aquarius is beginning to realize they want this, or that they're looking for this. I also feel like your Aquarius is having these little epiphanies, realizing that yes, they're very smart, and yes, they're very intelligent, but that they've been having a hard time in their life expressing themselves. I feel like there's some kind of epiphany that your Aquarius is having, where they're realizing that, man, I thought I had made certain things clear, or I thought I had expressed myself, but I really hadn't. I really hadn't expressed myself, or I really hadn't clarified what needed to be clarified, or they're realizing that you don't know how they felt. So if you're dealing with an Aquarius that's given you attitude, or that's been like just very cold or very short with you, they've been of the mind that, well, you should understand, or you should know, or that they've made everything so clear to you, but you've been ungrateful in some way. It's beginning to dawn on them that no, they didn't know. I wasn't communicating. I knew what I thought, I knew what I felt, and I was just assuming that we were on the same page, but we weren't. And so I think some of you are dealing with an Aquarius that's realizing maybe they've given you some mixed signals, or that they've shut you out in some way. And this is like an epiphany. This is news to them. Like they're really just now realizing this, like, oh my goodness. And they might be missing you, or realizing that they've got a lot of work to do so that they can have this kind of connection or this kind of fulfillment in their life. We've got Eight of Pentacles. So they might be looking into some kind of training, some kind of education. They may be wanting to take workshops or classes. They may be reading self-help books. They may be really jumping and diving into their career and into their like business type of goals. And so they might also be doing something where they want to learn a skill or get a certification or get some kind of training that's going to give them the upper hand or the edge in their career. Okay, so there's that energy coming in as well. Your Aquarius is going to be very, very busy. Okay, very, very busy. When I see Eight of Pentacles, it does give me a sense or a feeling of like the workaholic. This is someone who gets very focused on what they're doing and they forget to take breaks. This is someone who's just kind of like, they got a one-track mind right now, and this is to do well, to prove themselves, to succeed, and to move up. So this might be one of the ways in which Aquarius is trying to prove themselves at this time. King of Rods. Okay, so this Aquarius might be thinking about you, and they may be feeling a very strong pull, a very strong passion, a very strong attraction. They may be feeling like it's time to take action, like they're trying to keep themselves busy and not think about you or do their own thing. Stay focused on what needs to be done, like do the work so they can come back in a healthier, better way, or give you a healthier or better relationship. They might be wanting or tempted to slow things down with you, or to try to keep somewhat of like an emotional distance while they're working on themselves. But this King of Rods energy is taking over, and they can't seem to leave you alone, or they can't seem to not get pulled into the passion that they feel for you. Okay, if this is someone who you are working with, or this is a family member, then they may disappear for a little bit, or they may go into these little periods of time where they're just kind of, they want to go off and they just want to blow off some steam and have a good time. So they might be in two extreme modes where it's just work, focus, and then they're just like, don't even bother me, like just leave me alone, and you might not know what they're up to. So this is just energy of someone who is feeling very, very driven right now. There may be some stress, and they might be seeking out, it could be you, if this is a romantic connection, or if you all have a past together, where they're just looking to have some I'm gonna say intimacy, physical intimacy. It's not necessarily just like, wham bam thank you ma'am, or wham bam thank you man, but it like there's a connection here. But it's very, very physical. It's very passionate. So this is like a lover, this is a confidant, this isn't just like a hit it and quit it. But this person may be feeling a lot of passion for you, or may have a lot of built up passion. Where they're kind of headed towards is the spiritual awakening, right? So the Hermit. So again, they're kind of, Aquarius seems to be running hot and cold. They're kind of all over the place. They're having this awakening. They're realizing they need to work on their communication. They're realizing there's things that they need to work on themselves to be a more stable person in the life of others. They're getting really busy with work, right? And then they're saying that, oh, well, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be on the straight and narrow, and I'm going to leave Crosswatcher alone because I'm not ready for Crosswatcher. But then they're like, but I can't stay away. I can't walk away from this relationship. This feels very hot and cold to me. This feels to me very on again, off again. Or like you feel like, oh, wow, things are really moving forward and then they're slowing down. Um, Aquarius is not doing this to you on purpose. They're very conflicted. They want you. They feel like they should stay out of your way and not like complicate your life, or they need to be in a better place to like deserve you, but they're unable, my darling. They're unable to do this. So they just can't seem to leave you alone. I do feel, Crosswatcher, you are some kind of a catalyst in their life where you're waking them up. They're having these revelations and these epiphanies because of you, and they're going through the spiritual awakening. Some of you are going to have to deal with an Aquarius who, as they're having this spiritual awakening, they're going to be really emotional. Okay, so you're going to have to keep this in mind, and you're going to have to brace yourself, because you may not know this Aquarius is an overly emotional person, but they may need you to like flat out hold them. Like they may need to like flat out like cry in your arms. And you need to be prepared for that if you want to have this kind of closeness with Aquarius. Because if you can't, they're not going to be able to deal with that or to open up with you again, if that happens. So uh I feel also, and it's very interesting because the Hermit card is not typically a card about secrets. Like anytime you watch tarot videos, or you look at the meanings of cards, the Hermit card isn't like, oh, someone has a secret. We might think of that when we see the Moon card, or when we see sometimes even the Magician card. But for some reason, intuitively, I feel like this Hermit, maybe not secrets, but maybe it's more like a revelation. I feel like this Aquarius wants to open up and tell you things they haven't told you before, where it's like, if we're gonna move forward, here's the things you need to know. Hence maybe why they're being emotional or breaking down or wanting you to hold them, or whatever it might be. They're like wanting to unpack their baggage and lay it out in front of you and say, look, if you want me, here's all my little issues, here's all my little insecurities, here's all my little traumas. Do you take me or not? So it just kind of feels to me like it's that kind of energy that's coming in. So even if this is a sibling, or if this is someone you're doing business with, like they're gonna approach you and they're gonna really be very transparent with you in the future, maybe sometime between now and mid-May, where they're opening up and they're saying, look, like if we're gonna do this, here's what you need to know, here's what my expectations are, here's what I need from you. And if you all aren't on the same page, they may pull away from hanging out with you, or they may pull away from working with you, or whatever it might be. But I just feel like there's a sense of vulnerability here. Like they need to know that you're here for them, or that you're going to have their back. So let's see what Aquarius wants to say to you. We already got a feeling of them like wanting to unpack some baggage. What does Aquarius want to say to Crosswatcher? What does Aquarius want to say to Crosswatcher? I'm hearing the Rolling Stones songs, Hey You Get Off of My Cloud. Maybe they're feeling judged by you in some way. I don't know. But let's see. Let's see what message comes up in the cards. What does Aquarius want to say to Crosswatcher? Oh, and a card fell. Well, a couple of cards fell. Let's see. They're watching you. Do you always feel like somebody's watching you? I can't sing. I won't sing the song. The 80s song. Okay, so, Crosswatcher. Aquarius is watching you. And Aquarius thinks very highly of you. Okay, they see you as very independent. They see you as somebody who's become successful. They're wanting to show up with that same energy. They're wanting to show up, but I almost feel like they want to be very casual about it. Like, they don't want to get really emotional. They don't want to be like, oh my God, like, you're the only one for me, or you're so amazing, or oh my goodness, we'd be such an amazing team. I almost feel like they're wanting to like show up and flex. So regardless of whether or not Crosswatcher you identify as King of Cups, or if you identify as Nine of Pentacles, King of Cups is like, success, abundance. It's like the husband card, a very masculine energy. And then Nine of Pentacles is like, a very successful entrepreneur energy, very independent, someone who's very disciplined in their emotions. And typically it is considered, or it is depicted with like a feminine figure on the card. So that's why a lot of readers will see Nine of Pentacles as like the female entrepreneur, or the, a financially independent woman. But it can apply for men as well. But typically, traditionally, it's kind of seen that way. So it feels to me, whichever one you are, if you're King of Cups or if you're Nine of Pentacles, whichever one you identify with Crosswatcher, it just feels to me like say you're King of Cups, then Aquarius is like just stepping up and like kind of flexing on you, like, oh hey Crosswatcher, I didn't see you there. I was just admiring my fancy bird that I got with my big promotion at my new job. Oh, I didn't tell you about that. Oh, okay. Or, like King of Cups just kind of like, oh, hey, that's a cool bird there, Crosswatcher. Yeah, I'm drinking this really great wine, and I got this really cool wand on that trip I took last month. Or, like, they're just kind of like trying to impress you in some way. Like, they're just stepping up to you and trying to impress you in some way. So you may not even realize really what their intentions are, but their intentions are to build with you, to have something long term with you. They may even have ideas of wanting to do something with you in terms of business or financially, but there's just this feeling of, like, look at me, are you proud of me, look how far I've come. Like, that's what I feel like. So if they could tell you anything at all, they would say, I've been watching you. I'm very proud of you. I'm very impressed with where you are in your life. You've inspired me in a lot of ways, and I hope that, you can look at me and you can see me as somebody that you feel is worthy of being in your life. Or maybe they're not feeling that way and they're like, I want you to know that I see you as, you're very special, or you've overcome a lot, or you're successful, and I'm going to be that way too. Like, I'm working up to that energy, right? I think we would be a really great team, is kind of like the feeling that I'm getting here from these. The cards that jumped out, or fell out, I should say, you had Nine of Cups and you had Page of Rods. So, and this is what I'm hearing, guys, and I'm normally not this informal in my readings, but if I heard it, I have to say it. And maybe for some of you out there, this is going to be very personal, because maybe this is wording or slang that your Aquarius uses. And what I'm hearing is, I'm sorry, I still really want to smash, but that doesn't mean that I don't care about you. Okay, so there's this feeling of maybe you felt like Aquarius has just only been in you, or only been into you because they're just like wanting the physical connection, or that's all they care about, or like, oh, this person just wants to, like, have a good time and disappear. And they're saying, no, I do care about you, right? Like, I do have feelings for you, but I also really, really want the physical aspect of things. So if you're coming up with this energy with Aquarius, where you're like, look, Aquarius, we can have this relationship, or we can have, this reconciliation, or we can do business together, or whatever it might be. But your whole thing is like, I want to hold it off, and I don't want to have the physical interaction. I don't want to like be physically intimate with you. They might be like okay at first, and they may really try, but they want you. They really want you, and they don't know how to turn that off. Okay, and there are emotions here too. They might not be madly in love at this point, but it is something that's kind of growing. We do know that they're wanting to show up as Nine of Pentacles, or they're wanting to show up as King of Cups. So they are hoping for something long term in the future, but they're not sure about how to make that happen just yet. So let's see, what can you do to help? What can you do to help, Aquarius? Empress is coming up a lot for a lot of the different readings. You got 9 of Cups, and you've got the Empress. Make them work for it. Aquarius needs to work for it. Aquarius needs to work for it. Make them work for it. Stay on your throne. This is gonna be a benefit to you, honestly. You're helping them to grow, but you're also establishing something more long-term and more successful for yourself. Don't come off your throne. Okay, you gotta, you're like, in some ways you're like Aquarius's personal trainer. Like, you gotta let them do the work. You know, they're showing up with a lot of passion, they're showing up with a lot of desire, but you need to let them meet you where you're at and not make this too convenient, right? Like, they have to put this effort in, they have to commit to this. So that's what's coming up, my darlings. Be sure to check out your May love video, your love reading. That's going to be up in the next couple of days. The weekly forecasts for all the zodiac signs are going to start loading as soon as all the Crosswatcher videos are done loading. And I'm still doing personal readings. Those are still available. And I thank you so much for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing.